Hi, it's your host, Broken Prodigal, and right now you're on Broken Game Reviews. Stay tuned.
I don't know why I can't get you out of my eyesight. I make commitments, then I lie. I guess I'm addicted. You say it's cool, but it's not fine. I see all red like a stop sign. I want control when it's not mine. I guess I'm addicted. I don't know why I can't get you out of my eyesight. I make
Alright, guys, so today I wanted to do a game review on none other than the sequel to The Last of Us, which is The Last of Us 2. So, what I wanted to talk about, I basically wanted to give you guys a review, and there will be spoilers. I won't get too in detail with the spoilers. Matter of fact, my intention is not to really touch particularly on the spoilers particularly, but really the reaction of playing it. So I've never let's just dive into it. I've never actually played a horror game that made me want to continue on, because most of the time, like, I've played titles like what was it, Resident Evil 3 remake. I played it and I have not naturally completed it. Now, I've seen the ending and all that stuff, but me, far as completing it, I did not complete it due to the fear factor. It was so terrifying, even listening to the music and the gruesomeness of it. You was like, yo, I'd rather just watch YouTube rather than cause myself to have PTSD from just the horror aspect. Now, keep in mind, their zombies don't really run on there, so there's a big traumatic difference. So that means just the sound and the theme and the somatic sometimes can be so terrifying. It's like, oh my god. But The Last of Us 2 has nothing in that aspect that will pull you away from the game. So what I mean is, the story is so intriguing, it makes you want to keep pushing forward. There was times where I was like, literally like, yo, I'm tired, but I'm like, yo, I got to figure out what's happening with Ellie, or I got to figure out what's happening with the other game's character, which is Abby. So basically, I feel like if you played this game and you played part 1, you may have been let down based on the character Joel, which I'm going to actually go back and play, because I had this actually on that title that came with my PS4 some years ago, and I downloaded it, but I never made it too far in the game to really relevantly say that I completed it. But part 2, for some reason, I was intrigued, because I knew that Naughty Dog produced, and production is just such quality. I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this one a try, and then I may backtrack. So I went into the game just knowing enough to know who Joel is, and then by the time you get to Joel's demise, you're like, yo, you're the character, the player, you yourself, you're playing the game and you're like, man, I can't believe that happened to Joel. And you're playing as Ellie and you just want to get revenge for Ellie, and Ellie goes on a quest of going to Seattle to find Abby, who is a part of Wolf. And once she gets there, she kills off a lot of Abby's friends, not knowingly, just trying to get straight to Abby. And she's, got a map. She's going there with Dina, her friend Dina. They travel together to Seattle, and on their way, Ellie, she learns a lot of different things. And this is one thing I did notice to keep my reaction a little original from any other, is that as far as the characters, when you're playing with Ellie, you realize that they have such a loyalty to Abby. You're like, man, most things you're like, man, if she just told you, maybe Ellie would be merciful and not kill him, But nobody gave up where Abby's location was. She literally had to find clues and all that stuff. And by the time you get to Abby, playing for Abby perspective, going through her trial, when she actually, showing the reason why Joel was murdered, and you get to feel her heart. You're like, man, yo, I understand why she wanted to have revenge. But then as you navigate furthermore, you begin to grow a love for her. Now this may be an experience for somebody who did not play part 1. Because I didn't play part 1, playing part 2, I'm in it fresh, so I have no real connection or bond with Joel other than I recognize him from part 1. That being said, I feel like I was able to appreciate the game more, which I believe most new players who didn't play part 1 and just coming into the franchise from part 2, they may enjoy the fact that how the story is presented, because once you get to Abby and you go through her trials of helping out somebody from scars, these children, once you get to that part, you start to realize that she's not really a ruthless, cold person, because that's how she's presented at Joel's demise. But once you walk through those trials, you're like, oh my God, how is this gonna work out? Are they gonna eventually talk? Because that's one thing, communication on both ends was not like appreciated or used. Like even Joel, in the midst of his death, he did say, I'm sorry for what happened, and I know that left room for the story to be told. I understand, as far as the franchise trying to have us, we'll have nothing to want to play, because the game basically was pulling you with the story. And by the time you get to the climax and Ellie is fighting Abby for the first time, like really fighting and resisting, you don't want to hurt Ellie because that's your main character, and you like, dang, can Abby find another way? Can these chicks find another way not to kill each other? So eventually it leads to mercy being shown because of one of the members in the scars, and basically we get to Santa Barbara. Now I'm skipping some stuff for the sake of people that has not played the game. Like, if you think it's not such a detailed reaction, it's only because I don't really truly want to take away the presence of the game. I just want to go around some subjects so we can actually, for yourself, can experience and have your own opinion about it. But when she goes to Santa Barbara, there's a part where when Abby goes to Santa Barbara, Ellie makes a decision to try to figure out, like, should she go and exact Joel revenge? And her choice is to eventually do that due to the PTSD that she's had from that lifestyle of running from zombies, shooting, dodging, whatever it may have been to survive, and being aided by Joel to watch him be killed. It literally drove her crazy. So she goes to Santa Barbara. But once we get to Santa Barbara, the situation is not how she pictured. She may have pictured that she would have found Abby somewhat, just living a good life, and she was gonna come and kill her. It wasn't like that. She realized that it was still the same situation that was happening in Seattle, happening in Santa Barbara. It wasn't just a fairy tale land of peace. And she got there, and you go through that, you trial through the zombies and the people, and you make it. I'm skipping through this. And you make it to Abby, and by the time you make it to Abby, your heart is like, you can either be two. If you're an old fan, more than likely you're like, kill her. If you're a new fan, you're looking like, yo, they need to find a peaceful resolve, man. That's how I felt. I had mixed emotions, but for the most part, I didn't want any of these characters to die. Now, a lot of people were complaining about how Abby looked. Honestly, I feel like it made sense. I know that some people may challenge it. I feel like it made sense due to what all they had to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, Abby had a center with Wolf where they had a fitness center. I was like, man, she's jacked. And then they made sure, Naughty Dog made sure that they showed, like, yo, at the base, the gym is the biggest thing. Other than eating and training, the gym is where people be at. It was like Planet Fitness in there. I was like, okay, makes sense. And she just got her arms real buff. You know what I'm saying? So she was kind of like, her arms were attractive. You know, and I don't mean in a way like, yo, I like big orange. I'm saying like she motivated me to want to get cut. But anyway, moving along though. By the time you get to Santa Barbara and they're having that last battle, you're looking at it like, yo, you know, some people, like, you're playing, it's almost like they're forcing you to kill her or try to kill her, and you're like, man, I just don't want this character to die. I don't want neither one of them to die, man. They need to just get off this island safely and live their life. And then there comes a point where Ellie has a flashback and she sees Joel. And now it's been said that basically it's a therapeutic experience for both characters, because both characters lost somebody important to them, and as they navigate through revenge, you know, one makes a decision to, you know, I'm gonna have to let this guy go who hurt me, and another person has to, I have to forgive this person, and I have to move on from this, you know, this person. I can't be angry and violent. You know, I can imagine because of that particular pandemic with the virus, not the, you know, the spores and all that stuff, and people being turned into zombies and not being able to live a regular life. You know, humans, like, this game was about the human heart. It was a challenge for you to check your heart, to reevaluate your own heart. Because it really showed me, like, man, if you really love murder and you love violence so much to where you wanted each character to kill the other character, the player, as in you, may need to check your heart, because that's not healthy. Human life matters, period. So what I got from it was very, like, insightful for me, as far as ever being incited anything by a game. I know people like, it was more things we could have done and all that, but story-wise, did you get the message? Some people get caught up in the gameplay, but did you get the message? It was a lot about things that is present in this culture. There were some topics about, you know, same-sex interest. It was a lot of identity issues within the game. But for the game, I would give it, from my experience, I would give it a 9.5. Now, the only reason why I give it a 9.5 is just because I think nothing's 100%. So it wasn't no graphical errors or anything like that. I just said, you know, there are elements where you're going through time and you're confused on what time period you're in. But even that can't, you know, that's about the only thing. There are parts with Abby where you're like, yo, I don't know what time frame I'm in. And how does this make sense? But then it all links up. They did, as far as that, yo, the guys did an extremely good job on putting that game together. And I just want to say I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It is a good buy. Now, a lot of people may question, like, yo, but it doesn't have multiplayer, you know? That may change. You know, we have so many DLCs and add-ons to games later on. You know, they may add that to it, but right now they just want you to get the story, get the message, and see your responses. I like it. Dope horror game to play. First horror game I ever played without needing people to be in a room. Now, I actually played the game with my earphones on, and the sound was so beautiful. What I mean is that it wasn't just like random in your ear and nothing was around. You get a lot of that in RE3. But on here, it was literally you're listening, and what you hear makes sense with what you see. So if you hear around the corner, there is something, and you can use your listening skills to actually find the enemies. I like that, and I feel like that also kept the viewer on, you know, at a sense of peace, because usually horror games take away your sense of peace, and you're like, this is just out of control, anything can pop out, which they had their moments, but I feel like it was justified for being able to hear most of the time. You needed some time to get that little fright going, but definitely a dope game. Hit that subscribe button right here at don't forget to like it. If you don't like it, just like it. Nobody wants to be unliked, but just this is my honest opinion. One of my first reviews on this page. We're gonna be doing more stuff. I was debating on doing Final Fantasy VII, but it's been out for a while, and we're waiting to see if they're gonna do part 2. And some things have changed, but we may dive into that in the future. Like I said, subscribe to my channel. It's your boy Broken Prodigal, and you're listening to Broken Review. Thank you. Alright. So finally, I realized that I do have to spoil one thing. So I will put in the title, spoiler alert, for those who don't want their ending spoiled. But I do want to mention this. So as you're leaving, as you're coming to the beach point and you're about to fight Abby for the second time, I believe, or third encounter, pretty much. And as you're about to approach her, the people say that she's at the beach, she's bitten. That's dangerous. Insinuating that Abby is now infected with the virus. And the end of the fight, Abby bites off Ellie's fingers. So Ellie being immune, and this could just be room for part 3, but this is just me thinking. If she bit off her fingers and she's immune, could the blood cure her from the actual infection? So leave in the comment section on what you feel about that, on that theory. Do you think that her biting Ellie's fingers off could lead to her actually getting healed? Or is it just something that, the creator wanted to have Ellie just missing 3 fingers and there's no point to it? Alright. Thanks again. I'm out of here.
I don't know why I can't get you out of my eyesight. I make commitments, then I lie. I guess I'm addicted. You say it's cool, but it's not fine. I see all red like a stop sign. I want control when